I have something to say. And you need to stop whatever you are doing right now. Because what happened on that field last night was not baseball. It was a scandal. And the entire nation is furious. The stage is a packed MLB stadium. Shohei Ohtani steps into the batter's box. Tens of thousands of eyes are locked on him. The pitch comes in. Ohtani holds. Everyone in the stadium, every fan, every coach, every player on the bench, sees it clearly. Ball. Outside. Not even close. But the umpire, Dan Iasonya, raises his hand. Strike 3. You're out. For a full 3 seconds, nobody moved. The dugout froze. The crowd went silent. And then, everything exploded. This was not a close call. This was not one of those borderline pitches where reasonable people can disagree. Broadcast replays showed the ball missing the strike zone by a significant margin. Every angle confirmed it. Every analyst confirmed it. Even casual fans watching at home on their sofas confirmed it within seconds of seeing the replay. But Dan Iasonya did not flinch. He did not look at Ohtani. He did not acknowledge the reaction from the dugout. He simply turned around and moved on, as if nothing had happened. That single moment lit a fire that spread from Los Angeles to Tokyo in under an hour. On social media, the clip was shared millions of times within the first 30 minutes. Japanese fans, American fans, baseball fans who hadn't watched a game in years, everyone had an opinion. And the opinion was unanimous. This was wrong. This was deeply, embarrassingly wrong. Dodgers manager Dave Roberts did not stay quiet. He came out of that dugout with purpose. Anyone who has watched Roberts manage knows Roberts walked directly toward Iasonya. His words were sharp. His gestures were sharp. The conversation, if you can even call it that, lasted less than 90 seconds before Roberts was ejected. Ejected. For defending his player against a call that every camera in the building proved was incorrect. After the game, Roberts stood at the podium and did not soften a single word. I have been in this league for a long time, he said. I have never questioned an umpire's integrity. But what happened tonight was unacceptable. My player was robbed. And I will say that as many times as I need to say it. The room was silent after that. Nobody asked a follow-up question. Nobody needed to. Now here is what made this story different from every other umpiring controversy in recent memory. Shohei Ohtani spoke. For those who follow Ohtani closely, you understand how rare this is. He is not a player who publicly criticizes officials. He is not a player who stirs controversy. He plays the game, he performs at an extraordinary level, and he lets his numbers speak for him. But after this game, something shifted. Through his interpreter, Ohtani released a statement that was short, calm, and more devastating than any emotional outburst could have been. I trust the system of this game, he said. But tonight the system failed. Not just me. The game itself? Read that again. He did not attack Iasonya personally. He did not demand an apology. He said the game itself was failed. A man who has given everything to baseball, who crossed an ocean, who learned a new language, who rebuilt his body after surgery and came back better than ever, said that the game he loves was let down. That statement traveled. In Japan, the reaction was equally volcanic. NHK broadcast analyst Tsutomu Ito, known for his composed and methodical commentary, did something that surprised every viewer watching that night. He raised his voice. This is not acceptable, Ito said on live broadcast, leaning forward in his chair. We are talking about the best player in the world. We are talking about a moment that could have changed the entire game. And the umpire got it completely, inexcusably wrong. For Japanese audiences, hearing Ito speak with that level of intensity was almost as shocking as the call itself. This is a man who has spent decades delivering careful, measured analysis. He does not raise his voice. He does not use words like inexcusable on national television. But he used it that night. And he used it without hesitation. The phones at NHK reportedly lit up immediately. Viewers were not just agreeing, they were calling to say they had never heard Ito speak that way. That alone told the full story of how serious this moment was. Baseball in America and baseball in Japan share the same soul, Ito continued. And tonight that soul was disrespected. Commissioner Manfred must act. Not tomorrow. Tonight. And act he did. Within 24 hours, MLB Commissioner Manfred issued an official statement confirming that a special investigation had been launched into the umpiring crew present that night. This is not a normal occurrence. Investigations of this nature are rare. Public confirmations of those investigations are even rarer. But the pressure was too large to ignore. Manfred's statement acknowledged that the call in question was being reviewed as part of a broader evaluation of officiating standards. It was careful language, something went wrong. And we know it. The investigation focused not just on the single call involving Ohtani, but on the entire performance of Dan Iasonia's crew across recent games. Multiple sources inside the league indicated that this was not the first time concerns had been raised about this particular crew. It was simply the first time those concerns had a name attached to them that the entire world recognized. When you make a bad call against a player that 100 million people are watching, there is nowhere to hide. 3 days after the game, the news broke. Dan Iasonya and 2 members of his crew had been temporarily removed from assignment to high-profile games pending the outcome of the investigation. In practical terms, this meant they would not be working playoff-relevant matchups, nationally televised games, or any contest involving division leaders until further notice. In the history of MLB officiating, moments like this are extraordinarily rare. Former players reacted immediately. Analysts reacted. And the fans, in America, in Japan, across every corner of the baseball world, reacted with a mixture of satisfaction and lingering frustration. Satisfaction because the system had responded. Frustration because the damage was already done. The at-bat was already gone. The momentum of that game had already shifted. No investigation, no temporary ban, no official statement could return what was taken from Ohtani and the Dodgers in that moment. One veteran baseball writer put it simply on his podcast. The league did the right thing. But they did the right thing 3 days too late. But here is what nobody is saying loudly enough. This controversy is not really about Dan Iasonya. It is not really about one bad call on one night in one city. It is about a larger question that baseball has been avoiding for years. In an era where technology can track every millimeter of a pitch in real time, in an era where broadcast replays can confirm or deny a call within seconds, why are we still in a system where a single human being, with no review, no accountability in the moment, no mechanism for correction, can make a decision that affects the greatest player on the planet and simply walk away? Ohtani's statement pointed at this. Robert's ejection pointed at this. Ito's rare moment of fury on NHK pointed at this. The call was wrong. But the system that allowed the call to stand, that is the real conversation. And that conversation is now happening at every level of the sport. In dugouts, in front offices, in broadcast booths, and in the office of the commissioner himself. Baseball is a game of inches. It has always been a game of inches. But inches require accuracy. And accuracy requires accountability. Shohei Ohtani will step back into the batter's box in his next game. He will be ready. He is always ready. That is who he is. But this moment will not be forgotten. Not by the fans. Not by the league. And based on everything we saw this week, not by the commissioner either. The investigation is ongoing. The pressure is building.